Welcome back to a little bit of cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. I'm your host, Cody Duppius. That is Sam Douglas. It is June 1st, 2026. We got ourselves some nice weather, Sam. How have you been enjoying it?
Really enjoying it. Been good. Had a few too hot days going on. The 90 and sunny when I got to turn the AC on a little bit. I try not to use too much AC, but we're back. We're back down from a little bit of that, man. I'm enjoying summer. We got a music festival coming up this weekend. Force Fields in Cadott. I've got a set on top of a school bus known as the Wub Wagon. If you're a fan of Wubs, wagons, school buses, and renegade sets, check out the Wub Wagon. I'm going to be playing there Friday afternoon up at Force Fields. I'm juiced. I'm jazzed. Let's have some cheese, baby.
Let's do it. I mean, AC, like on the topic of that, if you don't turn your AC off and you have it on constantly, even when you go away, it's not that bad. When you let it fluctuate and it has to cool itself back down after you've turned it off for a little while, that's when that bill gets high. Do your research, kids. That's how you save the money. Okay? There's important science to that. Sam, you probably got some good insulation in that house. I think you could run some AC consistently.
Central AC in here, too. It's nice. There's no window units anymore. It's just a hit a button and let the sucker do its thing.
Welcome to the 21st century, baby. Let's go. So a lot of breaking news today. Myles Garrett is headed to Los Angeles. The Packers have another monster, you would think, in the NFC here that they're going to have to take down. It's Matthew Stafford's last year out possibly for LA. That defensive line is stacked. And my biggest concern here, because Jared Verse is headed back to Cleveland in the trade amongst a bunch of draft picks, a first, second, and third rounder, which honestly, for Cleveland, where they're at, good to cash in. You get a young superstar defensive end as well in return. It's just what Myles Garrett is, on the other hand, is possibly the best defensive end peak that we've seen. So I think a good trade here on both ends. Where I'm concerned, because things could fall apart with one injury, as we saw with Green Bay last year, Micah Parsons going down. That team for Green Bay looked at the top of the world in the third quarter there in Denver until he tore his ACL. So LA, whether that be Matt Stafford or Puka or Myles Garrett or anybody else on that defense, things could fall apart. Where I do get concerned is if Aaron Donald right now is getting a little bit bored. And he sees what's going on. Because Aaron Donald is still just 35 years old.
Yeah.
And I know that man has still been working. That's where my biggest concern here comes with Myles Garrett going to LA, because Jared Verse was a very good player. Like, you're getting an upgrade certainly by getting Myles Garrett, but where LA was yesterday compared to today, it's better. I just don't know if it's that much better for me to get like the real chills.
Myles Garrett, man, he's something. All due respect to Jared Verse, I think Myles Garrett is different. Now they got the MVP from last year and the Defensive Player of the Year on the same team. Guy just set the single season sacks record last year and went like 3 weeks without a sack. I think Myles Garrett's he's a 101 type of dude.
Yeah, I mean he is. I think Micah Parsons is closer to it than some people think. I mean, you look at the numbers side by side. Like, I mean, Garrett had 23 sacks last year. You can't biff those numbers any other way. That's the best in the world, maybe one of the best seasons, if not the best that we've ever seen from an edge rusher. But with that being said, I'd be more concerned if Verse was still there and you had both ends coming, because now you can double, you can triple Garrett and be fine. It's just if you get another one of those like top end, like an Aaron Donald, if you get two guys out there that you really have to be concerned about, that's when it becomes scary. And that will actually bring us to our next topic here, is where Green Bay is, because you have Micah Parsons. You don't really have another monster that you specifically have to game plan for. When you get those, like last year with what Seattle was able to do, you had multiple guys that you had to game plan for specifically on that defensive line. That's where they were able to take it all the way to the Super Bowl, hoisting up the Lombardi. Green Bay right now has Micah Parsons. Devontae Wyatt's good. Hargrave is good. Lucas Van Ness is still a question mark. I think he could be good. But aside from Parsons, you don't have anybody that, like I said, makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Where Green Bay is kind of trying to match and play their hand as well. There's a lot of talk starting on Josh Sweat. How essential is it that Green Bay makes a move to get somebody opposite Parsons if they really want to compete here in an NFC?
If Brandon Cisse is going to come out and be cornerback one, really, really good, all pro level corner, it's not the end of the world if we don't land another DE.
Okay, so we'll go back to reality, Sam, with the 3% chance of that happening. The other 97% chance is Cisse battling it out neck and neck with Carrington Valentine, which is probably what we're going to see.
Being that we did nothing to improve our cornerback room for this year, yes, we need another defensive end. We need to boost this pass rush. Like you said with Myles Garrett, Mike is just going to be seeing doubles and triples all the time, and you can move him around, and that's a great perk of having Micah Parsons. Almost maybe that Garrett doesn't have is Parsons might be a little bit more versatile. He can drop into coverage. He's probably better used as a pass rusher, but the versatility is there. Getting Josh Sweat would be an absolute game wrecker for this Packers defense. Last year, 12 sacks. Year before that, 8. Year before that, down year at 6.5. Before that, 11, 7.5. Like, this guy's been consistently getting to the quarterback in the NFL on a Cardinals team that a lot of times teams are running the ball against because they're up quite a few scores. So really similar to Myles Garrett, you know, when you're getting those sack numbers for Cleveland and teams are running the ball 60-70% of the time because they just don't need to throw it against your bad team, getting those sack numbers is even more more difficult for those types of players. So Josh Sweat doing what he's done in Arizona is remarkable, and if he can get paired up with Micah, that's more snaps off the field for these guys. It's more rest for them. It's injury prevention, and it's third downs that a quarterback in the shotgun does not want to see.
Absolutely. In those first 4 weeks without Micah Parsons, too, you're dealing with a very similar defense that you saw at the end of last year for Green Bay, which, all being said, was pretty awful.
And we plan on being a playoff team this year. Every game's going to count for a home field advantage. We want a few games at home come playoffs. Every single week's going to matter. So got to get off to a hot start. I think we talked about it last time. I think Mike is going to be there week 1. I don't really see a reason why he wouldn't be. I think he's one of those freak athletes, but Josh Sweat, man, former Jonathan Gannon guy. I think he wants to get back with Gannon. It feels like someone that Gannon has said, hey, is there a world that we go get Josh Sweat right now and they just have to figure out the trade package? We see NFL making moves today. A.J. Brown just got sent to the Patriots. OBJ got signed to the Giants. How
is he still like playing?
I love it, dude. I'm cheering for OBJ. I watched his catch live. He's a bit of a goofball, but I'm here with the OBJ. He's a dirty little secret, guilty pleasure favorite player of mine. So
OBJ, a man who has a couple dirty little secrets that were found out and came to light a couple years ago. I remember that catch too. I watched it on a TV that was probably smaller than the computer screen that I'm looking at right now in my dad's kitchen. That was the kitchen TV. We weren't supposed to be out there too long to watch on it. That's supposed to be for eating. But for Sunday Night Football, we can turn it on. And we did. And I'll never forget it either. But yeah, so looking at Twitter now, because of course there's a lot of heat with the Josh Sweat rumors, because heard earlier today, Sean Wright said that the Packers and Cardinals are engaged in discussions, and actually just 50 minutes ago, news to me, just read it, Matt Schneidman says, sorry to rain on the parade, but I'm told Brian Gutekunst has not discussed a Josh Sweat trade with anyone. Not a thing at this point. And Schneidman he's pretty in it. I think we can listen to him. So maybe we just throw all of that to the side and maybe Green Bay is going to get somebody else. But I mean, Sweat is a guy that followed Gannon from Philly to Arizona. And I mean, we've heard the rumors that Sweat wants to leave and that Actually, we know that he wants to leave. That's pretty obvious from Arizona because that's going to be a dumpster fire. Sorry to the other LaFleur guy,
If
but
Jacoby Brissett is your quarterback one and he's holding out for more money, yank, you're not winning 4 games.
yeah, Cardinals fans, I'm sorry. Like that, the fall of grace from 10 years ago. I remember when there was the HBO NFL Hard Knocks, and which Sam, by the way, that is an elite choice of beverage container. As Sam is just drinking out of a Brita filter as we speak. Uh, but I mean, NFC Championship. I mean, beating Green Bay in miraculous fashion to just losing it all. David Johnson, man. That's a David Johnson injury is all it takes to completely ruin a franchise and probably one of the worst front offices that we've ever seen. Doesn't help in that case,
I
but
think the Cardinals might be the losingest team in football history, Cody.
yeah, they are.
They are? All right,
Mhm.
sweet. They've been around for a long time and they've had just a couple brief moments.
Hey, didn't have anything till Kurt Warner laced him up for him. And I mean, you had one of the best wide receivers of all time to give you something to watch for. But post 2016, man, it's been a grind. Like Carson Palmer years were fine, but it's not looking good. Hence why Sweat wants out. You would hope that Green Bay would want to go, but I heard the other rumor was that Green Bay was in discussions, and the only thing holding them back was how much cap they were going to take. Which, yeah, you're paying some guys like big boy money
Yeah.
right now. That's going to be a conversation with anybody that you bring in, and where you're at right now, you're going to need somebody to either come in, which I think is less likely, or B show that they can actually do it. And I think there are guys on that roster that could, but to this point are unproven. Van Ness being one, DDS being another, Baron Sorrell, maybe Edger and Cooper. You find rushing on the edge a little bit when Parsons
Sure.
isn't there because he can be like he's shot out of a missile when he's going after the quarterback. And there might be more opportunity for some packages like that. And Gannon's going to be a good guy to scheme some of that up. But
He's going to be able to get creative with the Franklin and Cooper linebacker
yeah,
duo. He's going to we're going to see some creative looks out of those guys.
yeah, and I might feel uncomfortable with watching McDuffie drop back into coverage coincidentally, but I mean it's what you got to do when you're missing a guy like Parsons and how valuable he is, and that's really the key to all this is staying healthy. But boy, it really helps to have more depth if somebody does go down. Like if Green Bay would have had somebody. You beat Chicago. Like if you had a little bit of a pass rush, if you had somebody off the edge that could bring it just a little bit, you needed one play in that game, and you would have been on to the divisional series. And who knows what happens after that? But it's just more depth, and maybe they have it, and we just don't know who's going to step up. But somebody needs to for this to be an actual conversation. Other big Packers news. I mean, not as it is as headline making, but not quite exciting on our end. Josh Jacobs was arrested, was put up for 5 charges. They have not actually put the charges on him quite yet, as he has been released from Brown County Jail. Has there been anything that we've learned in the last couple of days here on the Jacobs situation? I know in Green Bay they're not doing a lot of talking, and I don't expect them to until this actually goes to court.
Everything's alleged right now. That's to my understanding. That's the Packers' statements. He was released. The charges aren't filed yet. Um, there's a world that he plays the whole season for the
Yep.
Packers. We saw courts with Rashee Rice last year. He had the vehicle incident in the off season, and then as courts do, the court date got pushed and pushed and pushed, and he played the whole year with these charges waiting under him. And if I were the Packers, I'm not, NFL front offices are not the morality police. It's not
Yeah.
their job to do investigations. It's their job to win football games. I think they root for pushing this court date back and back and back and running Josh Jacobs into the ground, using him as much as possible. He has void years available, and this will be his last year as a Green Bay Packer. Now, if something comes out and without a shadow of a doubt, there's guilt on his part, that's
Yeah.
not something that the Packers will stand for, not something
Mhm.
that, anybody will stand for, any fan of the Packers will stand for, and he will be done in the NFL as soon as if there was significant any amount of domestic violence going on with Josh Jacobs. Um,
Right.
I would hope his time in the NFL is done. That being said, while there's hasn't been full investigation, while courts haven't been scheduled yet, while he's released with no charges, um, until anything comes to the surface, I bet it's business as normal for the Packers side. I don't know, Cody.
Yeah, I mean it's goofy. I was pretty shocked when I got the news, I'll be honest, and I'm not someone who knows Josh Jacobs personally, of course, but out of all the guys and the personalities that I've heard in that locker room, not that there are bad personalities that you hear about necessarily in the Packers locker room, but you've heard a lot of great things about Josh Jacobs and the kind of guy he is,
Yeah,
where this was not on my radar,
yeah.
especially when it came up. Like I was pretty shocked. And of course, we know nothing. Like he could be guilty 100%. If that's the case, you hope he sits in prison because justice needs to be done if all those charges turn out to be correct. There is the other side of the coin where he is innocent. And that's, of course, what we're all hoping for. We hope that nothing happened and that we can go on and that Jacobs can have his upstanding record and that Green Bay can continue having one of the best running backs in the NFL. But we know nothing. And that's all that we can really say about it to this point. What we can say on the football side is without Josh Jacobs, there is a very big question mark for Green Bay's offensive weapons as Marshawn Lloyd got hurt again somehow in t-shirt and shorts day last week. So it's
Did he really?
it's crazy, man. I'll find what the actual report was, but it's insane. I mean, you're down to Chris Brooks and a couple of undrafted rookies. It's you got to find somebody.
Like you said, they might be giving.
Floyd
He
being there.
texted me. Tucker Kraft might get a couple handoffs, and I became fine with that pretty quick. But that is not an ideal situation. We do not have a running back without Josh Jacobs. The chips are in on Josh Jacobs. We went out, we signed a big name free agent, and we don't have a backup plan for him.
Yeah. So Marshawn Lloyd, undisclosed, sat out of team drills 4 days ago. So we don't know why he sat, but there really isn't a reason that he should have been sitting out of t-shirt and shorts day. So not looking great on that end. Who's left in free agency? I know Nick Chubb is out there,
Joe
which
Mixon,
yeah, talk about guys that have clean records there, right? Mr.
yeah.
Nixon.
There,
Of an
I think
NFL record.
Kamara said he doesn't want to play anywhere other than the Saints.
Yeah.
It's not a good list, Cody. I looked through it. I think DeAndre Swift might be on that list. It's it's nothing good. It's it's not good at all. There's not a whole lot of good options. It looked like nobody with burst. When I
Yeah.
saw there might have been a couple guys that can get the job done, but nobody that I saw that would break away from a defense and actually be a game-changing running back that we saw Josh Jacobs be more than a handful of times, including a very big third down last year against the Bears.
Yeah.
Those
I mean,
plays.
you need that. And the offensive line has to play better regardless of who's back there. Because in all honesty, Jacobs didn't have a great year last year because the offensive line was bad. So
Mhm.
regardless of who is taking the handoffs, it's of course going to help to have Jacobs back there. But if you can find a decent line, you can find a way to overcome the possible absence of Jacobs. But
Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Cam Akers, Raheem Mostert, Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. Hey, I would welcome the Cam Akers conversation. Just briefly. I mean, he had a couple moments. I mean, there are a couple names there. I mean, Miles Sanders, that's an old name, brother. That is a long time ago. Harris, you stay away from. Yeah, it's thin, but you're at the point at this moment right now. You need to be looking, and I'm sure Gutekunst is. And I'm sure the team knows a lot more about the Jacobs situation than we do, of course. So we're just going to trust it until we get there. But I don't feel ultimately comfortable, even if Jacobs was fully healthy. I still think you need another body in the room just because of how prone Marshawn Lloyd is to not being anything at this point, to just being active. We can't trust it.
You know who had a much better month of May than Josh Jacobs? Gosh darn Milwaukee Brewers, Cody, dude, they're cruising, man. They're cruising. First place in the Central by, is it 4 games right now? Or just
10 out of 10 segue there. Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to get us from domestic violence to the Brewers being in first place.
Yeah, that's a lot better. We can go to domestic violence to maybe some sexual actions on the field from Abner Uribe. Lots of great topics here in Wisconsin fandom the last couple of weeks. But yeah, Brewers are hot. A lot of talks in the streets. Of course, Abner Uribe got a lot of talk because of the triple crotch chop to St. Louis, which, okay, we got to talk about it a little bit. Sam, I'd love your thoughts before mine.
You see the clip that they were hitting Yelly?
Oh yeah,
they called a hit on Yelly, and Uribe's got his guys back.
But they didn't throw at him, and that's the thing. So Marmol, after the game, Ollie Marmol is the St. Louis Cardinals manager, and the video that Sam's talking about, he pointed to his head, and then you can see Yelich at bat and Marmol in the background pointing to his rib cage, signifying, "Hey, I'm looking to hit your guy." And then said after the game that he was telling the Brewers dugout that if you keep telling your batters about our signs or our pitch tipping, then we're going to hit you. And he pretty much admitted to that, which is insane in its own right. But then, of course, Uribe takes offense to that and then was showing his guys that he had their back. So I can defend the thought process there of Uribe up until the decision of how he was going to show his teammates that he had their back, which I'll say that a triple crotch chop I'll take better than throwing at somebody's head or throwing at anybody in general. But there are probably a couple of other ways that you could. We've seen Trevor McGill just turn and say some things. You can almost always do that. And you don't have to be as careful even with what words you use, because in baseball, people just use those words all the time anyway. But the action out there for everybody to see, and the nation and all the cameras just looking at you, maybe not the best of choices. I will say Major League Baseball suspending him for a game just a week after listening to PCA tell some fan out in right field to SMDB. Not quite sure where we stand on that, but it's
and the Uribe,
Abner, he can't do it. Probably going to get suspended for a game. I'm not too pressed on it. I don't think Abner's a bad guy. I just think the thought process got a little flunky there towards the end when he decided that's what his celebration was going to be.
It's not necessarily it's not as cut and dry of a sexual innuendo as it kind of looks on the surface, or as much as PCA, because that's a wrestling celebration. That's a nod to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid in the late 90s and early 2000s, D-Generation X, WWE superstars on Monday Night Raw. It is a WWE move. It's not, he wasn't grabbing his junk or anything like that. It's 3 hip thrusts is 3 hip thrusts, and that's one too many in professional sports.
15-yard penalty, yeah.
So I think what it was, but you want your relievers to be fired up, and that's what makes a good reliever is having some of that juice. Now, what makes a good reliever a great reliever is having that juice and controlling it. And I think that's what Murph wants out of these guys, is to have that juice, but be able to know where the line is.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you. I don't think this is, anything to to say his character is down the drain or he should get
Yeah.
sent to AAA or anything like that. Do your suspension. Acknowledge that you made too much of a gesture.
Yeah. I
But
mean, he is appealing the suspension, so he really doesn't want to sit for a day, which, whatever. I mean,
how would that
these
work?
things happen
Do
all the
they
time.
just can they just not pitch him for a day and claim that was his suspension?
I think the league selects which day, which is
Okay.
kind of the point that stinks. It's like, well, if Milwaukee wants to use him that day, which, in all honesty, it's a game. Like, if you got to
Yeah.
pitch, even Grant Anderson, Sam, it'll be okay that they pitch Grant Anderson.
Anybody other than Jared Kane and Cody, I don't want to see him back on the crew,
Hey,
man.
Mister, I love Joey Ortiz, but can't be okay with one of the best relievers in the National League for the last 2 years out there on the mound.
Who,
Look at the
Jared Kane?
numbers, Sam. Look at the
He's,
statistics.
he's a bum. You said that about Payamps too.
Well, yeah, well, Payamps had a couple of decent years and then really fell off and the stuff wasn't there. Where if Koenig gets his stuff to where it was last year, I'm totally fine with it. If it's not, we have a different conversation, which is probably more likely. But you hated Koenig when Koenig was good.
I
We
did.
don't
I
have
did
an opportunity to
100%
like
because
Joey Ortiz when he's good because he hasn't shown us any of that.
Koenig never really looked that good though. I'm confused about what it was that was. Hey, don't do that. My cat's scratching out a window. Confused about what it looked almost lucky sometimes that he was getting out of these situations.
Hey,
Put a couple runners on and get out with a double play ball. I don't think that's fantastic pitch. Cody, you love Chad Patrick in the bullpen.
mm,
He's a bullpen dream. He looks better in the pen. The reason that happened is because Koenig's out of here. Grant Anderson has been looking just fine. Uribe McGill's getting his confidence back. If Koenig had been there, maybe these moves don't start happening, man. Like maybe Chad Patrick never pitches in the bullpen. Like
oh,
now,
they find a place for him.
Sproat has to get sent back down to AAA.
Yeah.
Sproat's gotta take some time, and I hope that the answer isn't Patrick is starting and Koenig starts getting a lot of relief innings. My gut tells me that seems to be the course of action. But I really liked.
Hey, you got Carlos Rodriguez pitching innings right now. Like, you have innings to give these guys, I promise.
Yeah,
There's
not Koenig.
innings for Jared Koenig. They might
Didn't
not
he
be
just
the innings that you like, but they're there.
he just pitched in AAA? Didn't he have one inning pitched, about three earned runs, four
I didn't
hits?
watch. I didn't watch the Nashville Sounds.
He
I'm
had a really
sorry.
bad inning, and it got me jazzed up to not see him wear the Brewers colors anymore. But they're
Yeah,
gonna
I
bring
mean,
him back, and
it'll be okay. They'll be fine. They got the guys there. But yeah, Sproat's gonna have to figure something out. You were hoping he could get through the fifth inning, maybe one time out of his last few starts, but he's fails to do that. Fails to locate. Fails to keep guys off base paths, and just can't get rid of the big inning. So I mean, the stuff is there. It is. It's like top end starter stuff. Like, he could be your third guy, but right now, not refined. I think there's a lot of mental things going on with Sproat, where even Murphy has kind of talked about it too, saying we haven't seen the progression that we want. But I mean, you have enough arms. Henderson going to the IL kind of stings a little bit for that, but Patrick is still stretched out, so everything's gonna be okay. Gasser is a guy I'd be okay not seeing for a while. He does not look like himself. Coleman Crow, you can keep throwing, and I'm totally fine with that. He can
cool
get some
call,
innings
bro.
in, get things done. Back to Uribe, kind of where he was closing. I said I felt more comfortable with it. Also said McGill, not quite sure where his spot was going to land this year. McGill looks really good right now.
Yeah,
I am full fledged. Keep pitching him in the ninth as much as possible.
you're
I
getting
feel
painting.
more comfortable. Where last year, I know I said it probably around the All Star break that Uribe would be the better closer. It's kind of proven itself to this point for whatever reason that it's just McGill's spot. And I will just come out and admit it to this point. Keep doing it, Trevor. I love it. Uribe, pitch out of the seventh or the eighth, and that's one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball. And they can keep it right there.
I like the optionality on it too. That's
Yeah.
kind of my excitement coming into the year. Now they're both going to have experience in the ninth, both going to have experience in the eighth. You get a couple guys that struggle hitting the sinker. Got Uribe. A couple guys who
Yep.
struggle seeing fastballs high in the zone. You got all the scouting report, all the analytics in the world. Find who's not going to be who you're going to have troubles with. You got guys that can't hit a lefty. Aaron Ashby is a fantastic option to pitch if you need him in a clutch spot.
Yeah. No,
Guy
things are
keeps
good.
getting wins.
Yeah. They got guy. I mean, Ashby with 9 wins right now, leading the National League. Like there's a if they pitch Aaron Ashby as much as they are right now, there's a legitimate chance that he can lead the National League in wins throughout the course of the season. The more likely scenario would be they try to pitch him as much of this and his arm just falls off in the middle of a ball game.
We
Uh,
were like 2 weeks into the season wondering if he's going to keep pitching this much, and he has not stopped at all.
they've slowed down a little bit, like just took the foot a little bit off the gas. Now they're not going 20 over, they're just going 15 over. Uh, but I mean, Ashby seems fine with it, and he's still continuing to pitch well. So I'll just keep my mouth shut until things start hitting the fan. But Sam, you said you had a little bit of a fun cheese grater for us today.
Before we get to the quick grader, how
Okay,
about Jacob Mizorowski in May, man?
very
How,
good.
dude, this guy's unfreaking believable. I put a tweet out on our X account, Twitter account. Um, it feels must watch TV, and I compared him to Aaron Rodgers in the tweet, where it's just
Mm.
something fun is going to happen every time that he's on. It's going to be something electric. It's something's going to dazzle you. You're going to see something that you're just not supposed to see a starting pitcher do. You're not supposed to see a quarterback really do that. And man, one earned run, 57, 57 batters, one run, 14 hits. 6 games in May. It's just unbelievable, Cody.
I actually I haven't seen your tweet yet, so I'm gonna find it really quick.
The
But
cheese Twitter has been cooking every now and then.
I see that. Yeah, I'm actually Jacob Mizorowski is approaching Aaron Rodgers' level of must-watch TV. It's guaranteed to be a show every time you put the kid in the game. Yeah, A+ tweet there, Sam. That's a great comparison because what you're talking about right now, the stretch that we've seen over the course of the month for Mizorowski, as he was actually just named NL Player of the Week just a few minutes ago. Uh, it's top of the level, best in the world type of stuff. Like Giannis just dragging it all over. Aaron Rodgers, what he was able to do for over a decade. What you've seen this month out of Mizorowski is at that level of good, where it's every time you're comfortable, the Brewers need a win. You have the guy that's going to give you the best possible chance to go do it. A .24 ERA over the course of a month. And the crazy thing is he still might not win NL Pitcher of the Month.
Yeah.
But like Christopher Sanchez out of Philly, man. Jeez. But yeah, Miz is everything that you could have hoped for and more. Where we talked about if this guy can be the real deal and hit that ceiling, which he has done way quicker than any of us have ever expected, it gives the Brewers the chance to do really special things this year when you look into the postseason and you're at that point where game one of a playoff series, Mizorowski on the mound, it doesn't matter. I feel really, really, really good. Now, filling out those other spots, you hear the conversation of do the Brewers trade for Tarek Skubal? The answer is going to be probably not because they never do things like that. But if you get one or two guys to step up behind Mizorowski, that's when we can start having can the Brewers get over LA in the postseason. But with a guy like Mizorowski, you know for at least one of those games that you can, and there's the possibility for it.
Opens the door for us. Cody, I got a list of a handful of baseball players that may or may not have put a Brewers jersey on. Few of them may or may not have played third base for the Brewers since 2020. You're going to tell me, is that guy, was he a third baseman for the Brewers in the past 6 years? You think you got a good rank?
I think yeah. Here I could give you a couple: Brian Anderson, Mike Brosseau. Those are the first two I remember competing for that job in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, Did Brock Holt ever play third base for the Brewers?
Yes, he did. That's a fever dream right there. You had a couple funky seasons.
Jace Peterson, did he ever play third?
Oh yeah, on base Jace. He played a
On
lot of
base
third
Jace.
base that 21 season.
What about Daniel Robertson?
This is a good question. I'm gonna say no, but he probably did.
Yeah, he played third base for the Brewers.
Yeah.
Just in the past 6 years, Cody. He did. We don't need to find some of the recent
Daniel Robertson.
Jed Girocco.
Jed Jerko. Yes, he did. That was also a 2020 season.
Owen Miller.
Oh yeah. He was the starter at third base last year from Fredonia, Wisconsin.
Cody, I should have prepped some guys that would be answers of no here. As I'm looking at, I'm like, I got 26 guys. There's been 26 players that have played third base for the Brewers in the past 6 years.
So then my cheese grater rebuttal to you is, what do you do? How do you solve this?
Bring Pratt up, put Ortiz at third.
Oh my God.
I think it depends. I like the idea of swinging. I like the idea of going and getting a guy. Trade one or two of your prospects. You'd hate to trade a kid or two and it be the wrong one and him really turn out. But Cody, dude, the Brewers are rattling off wins. We're winning now. I don't know what Jacob Mizorowski's going to be in 5 years. I don't know what Abner Uribe and Trevor McGill are going to be in 2 years. I don't know what Bryce Durang, Christian Yelich, William Contreras. I don't know what those guys. I know right now we have a terrifying 1 through 7 batting order. We have a starting pitching staff that is throwing out guys with people injured still right now. It's still getting healthy and dominating. We just had a 2.3 ERA for the entire month of May. I know we're really good. Isn't that awesome?
That's bananas.
We swept the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Yankees all this month. If there's a time to go get a piece right now and trade some prospects, this is the blueprint for it, man. It really is.
So I agree with you. The only problem is there's not really anybody to trade for. That's going to give you a lot more than I think your guys that are sitting in the minors right now would. I think Jet Williams is going to play third base for the Brewers in the next couple of weeks. I think Luis Rengifo is going to be put out on the street. I think Hamilton and Ortiz are still going to be there. And I think Williams is coming up.
I'm cool with that. You got to do something. Got to shake it up. Yeah. I think the experiment is over. David Hamilton. I love Hamilton staying on the team. He's got a role here. Just like Lockridge last year, he has a role. He is one of the best bunters we've ever seen. The Rengifo experiment is done. And
and maybe Joey Ortiz is still on the roster, and he might be in a month, but I wouldn't say it's a guarantee at this point. Sal Frelick, also pick it up, man. Like, we're getting to crunch time. Can't keep putting a guy out there that's not doing anything offensively. So that'll be my last.
Good though. I don't think Bowers is.
Bowers is so good. Yeah, I'm really eating my words. Still can't stand to watch him play first base, but he's a hitter, man. And Vaughn looks so good. No, you're set at first base. I want Vaughn to get a contract for a couple of years. That's where I'm at right now. I really, really would enjoy that. Another guy that just cannot play first base. That'll do it for us this week. My name's Cody. That's Sam. This has been another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.